Okay, so here's what happens in Bleach. Here's Ichigo, main character. Hot-headed high schooler who can see ghosts. There's good ghosts called pluses and bad ghosts called hollows. Humans become pluses when they die, but if they can't pass on, they degrade over time and gain these holes in their chest and these fancy masks and become hollows. They go around and attack other ghosts and humans, usually people they used to know when they were alive. One night, Ichigo meets a Soul Reaper named Rukia. Soul Reapers, or Shinigami, are supposed to protect the world from hollows and guide souls to the afterlife named Soul Society. They do this using their swords that are called Zanpakuto. Rukia busts into Ichigo's room and is surprised that he can see her. She gives him a spiel on hollows and ghosts, but while that's going on, a hollow attacks Ichigo's family. Rukia gets hurt protecting Ichigo and his family, and she offers to give Ichigo her Soul Reaper power so he can fight. He wins. The next day, Rukia appears at Ichigo's school as a student. Ichigo took more of her powers than she intended, so she's currently unable to use them. She takes Ichigo's soul out of his body and brings him to a park where a hollow is attacking a nearby ghost. She asks Ichigo to protect the town and her steed, and after a little bit of convincing, he agrees. Over the next few days, Ichigo's classmates, Orihime and Chad, are attacked by some hollows. Ichigo is able to fight off the hollows both times. Rukia looks for a way to turn Ichigo into a Soul Reaper without her help, which brings her to Urahara's shop. She receives a piece of candy that has a soul inside of it that when eaten removes the soul of the body. It turns out to be defective but gets the job done. They keep it, name it Cone, and put it into a stuffed animal. On the anniversary of his mother's death, Ichigo's family goes on a trip to visit her grave. Rukia suggests that a hollow might have been attracted to Ichigo's high spiritual energy as a child and killed his mom. Ichigo yells at Rukia and runs off to mope. Meanwhile, Ichigo's sisters, Karin and Yuzu, are attacked by a hollow. Turns out the hollow attacking, Grand Fisher, is the same one that killed Ichigo's mom. Ichigo is mostly getting wrecked, but is able to deal a significant wound to the hollow, who then flees. Later, Ichigo has a heart-to-heart with his dad at his mom's grave, and he resolves to get stronger and beat Grand Fisher. Ichigo and his friends attend the filming of a popular ghost show, but the host inadvertently accelerates the hollowification of a ghost nearby, and Ichigo has to step in to save the day. Over the next few nights, Rukia gets alerts that hollows are attacking, but whenever Ichigo and Rukia arrive at the scene, the hollows are gone. This happens until we eventually meet a stranger named Uryu, who calls himself a Quincy and says that he hates Soul Reapers. Turns out, Uryu is in Ichigo's class and talks with them the next day. Meanwhile, Rukia meets with Urahara, who explains that Quincy's were wiped out because their powers destroy hollows instead of purifying them like Soul Reapers. Uryu, wanting to prove that he's better than a Soul Reaper, challenges Ichigo to a duel. He breaks an item that draws a ton of hollows to the world and wants to see who can defeat more. During this challenge, Ichigo's classmates get attacked again. This time, Chad gains a fancy arm and defeats a hollow. Orihime gains a barrier power and defeats her hollow. These two pass out from their battles and wake up in Urahara's shop, who explains that their powers awakened because they were around Ichigo, who has been unconsciously pouring out tons of spiritual energy. Rukia finds Ichigo and explains the Quincy situation to him. Ichigo finds Uryu and they have a heart-to-heart. They decide to work together when a big nasty hollow called a Menos Grande appears in a hole in the sky. Urahara and his crew show up and tell Uryu and Ichigo to focus on the Menos Grande. While working out a plan, the Menos fires a giant laser beam called a Sero at them. Ichigo blocks it and his energy spikes and he's able to wound the Menos Grande, who then flees. Suddenly, Ichigo's Zanpakuto starts losing his form. His energy is going out of control from that last attack, so Uryu draws in all the energy he can and shoots it off in arrows, saving Ichigo's life. One night, Rukia runs away in the middle of the night. She's chased by two Soul Reapers, her brother, Byakuya, and her childhood friend, Renji. They've come to take her back to Soul Society for punishment since it's a crime to transfer powers to a human. Uryu arrives and tries to protect Rukia, but he gets wrecked. Ichigo arrives, and Renji shouts his sword's name and changes its form. They fight. Ichigo is getting pressured but turns the tide and is about to land a solid blow when his sword is suddenly broken. Byakuya rinses Ichigo. Rukia decides to leave with the Soul Reapers so they don't finish Ichigo off. Byakuya says that he hit Ichigo in such a way that he won't be able to use his powers anymore. Rukia, Renji, and Byakuya leave and Ichigo passes out. Ichigo wakes up in Urahara's shop. He lets Ichigo know that he has a way to Soul Society and offers to let him use it if he trains with him for 10 days. Below Urahara's shop is a large training space. Urahara removes Ichigo's soul and it no longer has his powers. Ichigo goes through several tests until his soul starts to go through hollowification. Ichigo is brought to his inner world by his Zanpakuto spirit Zangetsu. Ichigo finds his Zanpakuto in his inner world, reclaims his Soul Reaper powers, and stops his hollowification. Over in Soul Society, Byakuya tells Rukia that she is scheduled to be executed. Urahara and Ichigo fight. Urahara tells Ichigo that all Zanpakuto have a released form called a Shikai. Urahara pressures Ichigo until he calls out his sword's name and it changes forms. They continue to train for the remainder of the 10 days. Meanwhile, Chad and Orihime are doing their own training with a talking black cat named Yoruichi, and Uryu trains by himself. Everybody convenes at Uehara's shop, who opens the gate to Soul Society. Ichigo, Chad, Orihime, Uryu, and Yoruichi pass through and head off to rescue Rukia. And that's what happens in the first arc of Bleach.